afternoon, guys.
You can't really control when you play, but given the fact that you've got a quarterback that's kind of nicked up, does it probably not hurt you for Monday? But if you advance, you're looking at a short week.
Well, either way, it's the playoffs. It's going to be tough. We can use the extra day right now. Next week, we probably don't need it. We're going to need a couple extra days, but you don't get to work it that way. We play who we play when we play, and we line up and go.
Todd, to play a team you've already faced this season, obviously it's been a long time since you played the Eagles, but do you like the idea of a rematch in the playoffs, or how does that compare to getting a team you're starting from scratch with?
No, I don't think it compares at all. It's about the same for the really most part. It doesn't compare because we played them so early in the year. We were still growing. I'm sure they were still growing, and playoff time is different. It's one and done. Everybody's nicked up. Everybody's hurt. It's just a matter of who makes the most mistakes.
You guys were really rolling in terms of putting up points during that 4-game winning streak. The last 2 weeks have been a struggle. Have you been able to kind of pinpoint why you guys aren't getting more touchdowns on the board and just getting more points on the board in general?
Not really. I mean, we play some decent defenses, but when you execute, it goes well. When people get enough film on you and you keep doing the same thing, you have to change some, so we got to switch some things up on both sides of the ball, not just talking offensively, defensively too. But you win the game however you need to win it. You're not going to be clicking on all cylinders all the time.
At the same time, you guys have had some stretches where you've got 27, 34, 30 points per game. You've got the running game going. A far cry from where the offense was in its infancy back in week 3. Was that encouraging going into this game with some of that offensive success that you've had since week 3?
Well, we'll do whatever we have to do to win the ball game. As long as we have one more point than they have, that's what we're looking for right now. We want to have consistency all the way around, but the object is to win the game by any means necessary.
Todd, Yaya Diaby ended up leading the team in sacks this year. What can you say about the progression of him and just the feat of a rookie leading the team in sacks this year?
He came into his own. He's a physical specimen. Obviously, once he got the system down and he started playing loose and playing free, he really got back there and wreaked some havoc and made some plays. I'm proud of him.
You've seen a lot of edge rushers in your day coaching defense. But where's the ceiling on Diaby in terms of his hot start and where he has room to grow?
I mean, the ceiling's high, but obviously you got to put in your years. You got to stay healthy. You got to take care of your body. You got to do all that. I don't think that discussion should be made until he's way down further in his career. But we love the talent. We love the potential he has. But, there's a lot that goes into it that has nothing to do with production. It has a lot to do with health.
This team has gone back and forth between kind of leaning on the defense early, leaning on the offense in the middle of the year. How strong was it for the defense to step up the way they did to post a shutout Sunday?
It was big. We needed it. We needed it. We got a lot of guys back at the same time. They're starting to gel and play together, and it was big for us yesterday. We just got to continue it.
Todd Baker, you mentioned kind of the up and down nature of the offense, but is that sort of who he is too? In other words, even during the 4-game win streak, you had a couple games where he completes 48% of his passes, but ends up with a game-winning drive against Atlanta. And then he has the perfect game, right, in Lambeau, another big game against Jacksonville, and then, maybe injuries are taking a toll, I don't know. But do you have to kind of, just the way Baker is, he's a winner, but you're not going to have great statistical days every week?
Well, you don't put it all on him. It's an offense as a whole. It's not one guy that's going to win or lose the game. You got to operate as a unit. It's 11 guys over there as well as the coaches, so it's not just Baker being up and down. It's the offense clicking and then not clicking. We just got to be consistent.
Tristan Wirfs has been a guy that since day one has stepped in and been one of your aces, an all-pro caliber guy. To see him make strides as a leader this year, halftime speech against New Orleans, what he said after the game, are you proud of the way he's really becoming more vocal, taking more ownership, and really that offensive line is his now?
I am. That's huge. It's hard for a young guy to come, step up and talk in front of a group, especially when a lot of guys are older than him. But for him to step up and take that step, and he speaks from the heart. Nothing he says comes out fake, so everybody listens. When Tristan talks, he's got everybody's full attention, so that's big for him to come up this year.
What do you make of what Chase Edmonds has been able to do as RB2 for this team? It just feels like when he's in the game, he provides a little bit of a spark sometimes when it's needed.
Jake is quick in the hole. He has very good vision. He plays very fast. He's a good one-cut runner. He goes downhill. He can see things at full speed and make cuts one way or the other, and he gives us a spark.
Jake Camarda has had a really good year overall, but there's been some inconsistency these last 2 weeks. He's not appeared on the injury report, but is he playing through something that may be nagging in nature, or is this just a little bit of a slump that he's been in?
No, he just got to punt it better.
When you look at the Eagles, what's the difference? And they've lost a bunch of games here of late. What's not happening that was happening when they were 10-1?
Well, I haven't dove deep into them yet, but obviously they're a talented team. They've had some injuries over the past few weeks as well. Can't really put a finger on it until I watch more film right now. But again, they still won double-digit games. They're a very talented team. They went to the Super Bowl last year, and they're going to be a tough team to beat.
Todd, this is not exactly the most veteran-laden team like you had when Brady was here, and JVP, and all that, guys that had Super Bowl experience and plenty of playoff experience on an older Bucs roster. With so many rookies and young guys, how do you or your veteran leaders really get them to understand that this is different, that everything has to be ratcheted up in the playoffs, that what you were doing in the regular season, the intensity, it's got to elevate for you guys to keep advancing?
I think it helps them because they don't know and they haven't been there. I think it's exciting for them. You can only get there by getting experience, and everybody that's been there has to be a rookie or a second or third year guy at some point. Some guys go through 8-9 years and don't get there. I know it took Levante a while to get there, but these guys, they don't have to change anything they're doing. They matured at the right time. They're playing fast. They're playing hard. It should be exciting for them, and I want them to enjoy it.
Anytime there's a Philadelphia game, the topic comes up and you faced it. I think you may have stopped it once, but brotherly shove, right? The push, whatever they call it. How does a defense counter that, and how much of an advantage is that for Philadelphia that they have that play?
It's a big advantage for them, and I think it's a very good play. The only way you can counter that is try not to get in it. You want to keep them at 5 or more if you can, but they do a very good job of getting in it.
Is there a counter to it? They always say low man wins, but is Kelsey the key here?
If I had the answer to that question right now, I would be upstairs diagramming and calling and writing books on it. I don't have it right now.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Todd.